Hi everyone, I'm so sorry. First of all, I have been uploading videos every few days because I was really inspired by lots and lots of different topics that were coming to me, and I haven't posted anything in the last 10 days or so, and I'm sorry for that, but here I am. I've actually had one topic the last 10 days on my mind, and I've been percolating and percolating and percolating, and I'm like thinking, I want to share this, but what about it do I want to share? Why do I want to share it? How do I share it? Like, what's actually going to be the ultimate point of this topic that I want to share? And I think I've got it. I think I've finally got it tonight. So here I am. I want to chat about something that I think has occurred to many of us with ADHD. And it is this. Were you ever in a position in your life where you suddenly got told that you were being too loud, or you were being irresponsible, or you were suddenly the only one being addressed in a crowded room and nobody else was? These situations probably occur a lot throughout our teens. But well, what does that look like when we're adults though? We might not be told that we're being too loud, but people might suddenly start to shift and feel a bit uncomfortable, and we know we know what that might mean. Suddenly a conversation that we try to take part of just suddenly comes to an end all of a sudden. Or maybe we get told that whatever we are trying to achieve in the workplace is just really not the way, and you find it really hard to work out, well, why not? So in adulthood, it looks different, looks a bit different, doesn't it? But it feels the same. And this is what I want to get at, is that for the ADHD brain, it's not that we don't understand rules and societal expectations. It's just that we didn't know they were there in the first place. So when we're being too loud, for example, or talking too much, or interrupting someone in conversation, like maybe a lot, we genuinely don't know that we're doing it, and we genuinely don't know that that's just not a thing to do until someone does address it with us. Now, the problem is that we might go a lifetime, unless we've had the right supports in place, we might go a lifetime facing these really strange situations where something happens and we're kind of left a little bit, like what just happened? Like a little bit tumbling about. Not really sure what just happened. For me, the big thing is when I go to a social event and I approach a group and then I actually finally contribute my thoughts, and then everyone just shuts up. And then it's awkward silence, and then people then go, I'm going to go get another drink, or, oh, I suddenly need to go to the toilet, or just a new topic of conversation that might be lighter comes up. I don't really know. I don't really know what it is that I do that makes that happen. For many years I thought, oh, I must have made a really interesting and intricate and deeply thought-provoking point. Maybe that's why it just brought the conversation to an end. And then one day I realized, I don't believe that the chances of someone making extremely important points their whole life is a very high chance. So thought, maybe I'm just being socially awkward in some way, and I still don't know. I still don't know what it is. Maybe I've said too much. Maybe I've gone into too much detail. Maybe I've created a debate in a way that just doesn't suit that social setting. I don't know. I have mentioned before that I do think I have some ASD traits, and that could be some of that coming through. I don't know. All I know is that we can experience these situations in life where it feels awkward and it feels really embarrassing. And then after we feel really embarrassed or even humiliated, we then can't drop it, and we start thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it. We're ruminating. When I was a teenager, I thought it was because of my low self-esteem. I thought I just have a low self-esteem. That's why I can't let go of this thing that happened today, of this joke that everyone understood and I didn't. And then everyone laughed at me because I got the joke too late. And I would ruminate. I really honestly thought it was because I was just a teenager. But as life progressed, even in my 20s, I would ruminate over emails that were sent, over tidbits of conversations that were had with co-workers or friends. And I'd wonder, what did they really mean? Or what did I say the right thing? Oh, I wish I could have said this other thing. Stupid me, I shouldn't have said that thing. And we tend to carry this level of shame about us, like for a lifetime. I discovered my ADHD when I was 39, and then discovered that a lot of that is really normal with ADHD. The ADHD brain just likes to keep busy for the sake of keeping busy, and that's one of the ways it does it, I guess. So now I understand that if I fall into that rumination of like after a social event, I kind of let it be and just don't worry about it. I don't take on the shame that brings on. I'm like, oh well, I'm just analyzing, self-analyzing, visiting and revisiting. It's okay. I'm gonna let my brain do that. One thing that I really wanted to chat about though is something that's somewhat related to this, because like I mentioned earlier in this video, is that we get to a point where we become adults and those awkward situations just look differently. So throughout our teens, we're the ones that are being too loud, we're the ones that are being too hyperactive, we're the ones that just won't shut up, we're the ones that are disrupting the classroom, we're the ones that are being told we're being embarrassing, we're the ones that are actually tripping over our feet, quite literally falling over because we're a bit clumsy, and everybody's laughing and we laugh at ourselves because hardy haha, that was so funny. But through adulthood, our ADHD doesn't go away. So what does it look like? It looks different. So one of the ways in which I have noticed that this looks very, very different is simply on the internet, and how there are many of us neurodivergents having started to speak up in recent years, those with ADHD and those with ASD, those with ADHD, which is a mix of both, and we're trying to explain what it's like to live life with a brain like ours. And already that is difficult enough to do, because it is so hard to describe many situations that can happen to a neurotypical on the odd occasion. But it's difficult to then explain that happens to us on the daily, several times a day, and that's really not fun to live with. That's really hard to describe. It's really hard to describe. It's almost like, imagine a fish decided to explain how hard it is to swim 1,000 meters in the ocean, and along comes the shark and says, "How can that be such a struggle for you? I see you swimming just like I swim. That's not a struggle for you. And that's what happens on the internet when it comes to the neurodivergent community versus neurotypical community. To be honest, I won't even refer to the neurotypical community. It's those odd people in the neurodivergent community, or who might think themselves as neurodivergent, come along and they just say things like, but you're just privileged, or you're just lazy, or but you're just spoiled. Like, just get up out of bed and do the thing. Or things like this. They'll make these bully-ish like comments, well, I won't say ish. They really are bully comments, because we're trying hard to just put it out there. And to what end? Well, you know what? We're just looking to support others like ourselves. That's ultimately what I have noticed. Us neurodivergents who are sharing our experiences, that's all we want. We're just trying to get the word out there to others who have gone their whole life in through this invisible in this invisible space, because we can just either come across as neurotypical, or we don't, and we just get classed as quirky and funny and weird and whatever we get told, right? And nobody thinks twice about how maybe that quirkiness isn't just a quirk. Maybe it's there's struggle behind that. And so we're just trying to reach out to others like us. That's all we're doing. We're trying to reach out to others like us and say, hey, it's okay. I get it. I get what you're going through, and I want you to know that we're okay. And this is what you can do to lift yourself up, and this is what you can do to remember who you are, and all of this. And along come these bullies and say, you're just privileged, or worse, even worse things than that. So what about privilege? Let's talk about that, because I have my 2 cents about that. Like, in the current world, I really feel like the word privilege has just kind of changed its meaning completely. I don't know who's done it. Just society. Society out there has decided that the word privilege means that you are superhuman and therefore you're not allowed to speak. Now, I'd like to say that being human in the first place is not a privilege. It's just what we all are, who we all are. So if someone says to you, well, you're just being lazy, or you're just being privileged, when you're trying to sort of work out your own struggles with not being able to get out of bed some days, don't listen to them. Honestly, what's privilege? What's privilege? What, is having a brain a privilege? Is having a brain that's a little bit different and causes burnout really easily a privilege? That's not a privilege. Is having a bed to lay down in when you're really not feeling great and you're wanting to cover yourself up with your doonas and just not face the day, is that a privilege? It's not a privilege. How is that a privilege? How is being human a privilege? It's not a privilege. It's just being human. So what I wanted to say was, you know what? Honestly, don't worry. Don't worry about what others are saying. Forget the bullies out there. Bullies have always existed. They will always exist. And we just need to ignore them, because what they say is usually completely unbased on anything. In fact, it's based on nothing, which means exactly the same thing of what I just said. It's based on nothing, and I'll tell you why. Because they don't know you. They don't know you. You know you. You know your strengths. You know who you are. You also know the struggles that you face, and nobody else is inside your mind. Nobody else is inside your body to know exactly what it feels like. So I want to encourage you today to just not take on what others are saying, not on the internet, not around you, not family who may or may not understand what your new diagnosis is or what that means, or anybody who kind of goes, oh, but we're all a bit ADHD, aren't we? Look, I do want to say that could be said in a friendly way, but sometimes it's said in a I'm not interested way. And if you've got people around you that are like just not interested, just hold yourself, hold your heart, and just know that you know who you are. And that is all that matters. You know who you are. You know who you are. You know what you're struggling with. You know that you need to find and that you can find ways to support yourself, and that's a learning journey in itself, and it will take time. And in the meantime, you're just being you. You're not being privileged. You're learning about what it's like to actually acknowledge the struggle that's probably always been there. The struggle has always been there. You just didn't have someone to say, you know, that was really unfair. You should not have had to be put in that position. That was really unfair. That teacher should not have treated you like that and humiliated you in front of the classroom. You know what? That's really unfair. Nobody should laugh at someone who doesn't get a joke straight away. Like, who says you have to get the joke straight away? You know, nobody should laugh at you just because you have maybe a really innocent approach to life and just don't really see the cruelty in people or in jokes or in a movie scene. If you didn't really quite understand what that was about and they're laughing at you, nobody should be laughing at you. And if they are, it's on them. It's on them. They're like just being ignorant and they're being bullies, and ultimately you know who you are. You know who you are. It is not a privilege to be human. It's not a privilege to have struggles. So don't take on the bullying. And that's what I want to say. That's really what I've been wanting to say. In the last 10 days, I've been mulling over this because it can look so different once we hit adulthood. And it can be hard to kind of flesh out and go, oh, well, what does it mean now that I'm an adult? So yeah, I just wanted to say, chin up. Keep on keeping on. You know who you are. And you have some needs to meet, and that is okay. Go meet them. Chin up. Lift yourself up because you can. You can do it. Okay. Bye.